Mike Moore Media, the first place to hear Rockingham County news and information.
On our media line, Lessa Hopper, Mayodan Town Manager, our monthly report. Hey, Lessa, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I hope you are.
Doing great as well. Well, you recently had your town board meeting and covered a lot of things about some future building projects, some housing. You want to give us an update, maybe where we are in those projects?
We did have our meeting, and we had a public hearing. Well, we actually had two public hearings, one for a rezoning of property and one for a conditional use permit on that same property. And so there is a gentleman who's purchased a parcel of land on 135, and his plans were to build some apartment complexes, and so he needed to rezone from a residential agricultural to a high-density residential, and that was approved after the public hearing. And then he had to ask for a conditional use permit to have more than two buildings on one parcel of land for those apartments, and so the council voted to approve that conditional use permit after that public hearing. Mm-hmm. So this property is adjacent to the North Point assisted living facility, and he will be. His plans are to construct some apartment buildings there,
mm-hmm. Okay.
Which would be. We do have a need for housing in this area, and we are continuing to see growth from the Guilford County area north along the I-73 corridor, and so this is much needed housing for the area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I want to just kind of mention your comments. I included in my recap of the meeting. You said that, I think this is always interesting, projects just don't happen. There's a lot to make things happen.
Exactly.
But a quote from you from that meeting that looking at eventual growth in that area, that the town really started planning for that 30 years ago, you said.
They really did, and these were back in the days when Jerry Carlton was manager, and they had the foresight at that time. Mr. Carlton and the council had the foresight at that time to run the water and sewer lines out to the interchange where 135, which is now called 311, and U.S. Highway 220, so that people would buy up some of that land and grow this area with retail and commercial or housing. Mm-hmm. And that has been coming true over the last 30 years, and it continues to grow. And we knew that eventually people from Guilford County were going to be coming this way. We were already so close to the airport, but now it's just streamlined with I-73 corridor being there, mm-hmm. and you can get back and forth to the airport and to Greensboro just so much easier now that growth was bound to come, and we are seeing that now, specifically with a new business industry locating near the 68-220 split there, Highway 65, I believe it is. That industry is going to be the first of probably several that settles in that area, in that industrial park. And so, people are trying to escape the higher taxes of Guilford County, and it's just it will continue, I believe, to move north this way.
Yeah, it's just starting. And I consider Jerry Carlton to be a good friend and did so much for Mayodan. I wonder what he would think of where we are today and all of this progress.
I'm sure he would be so pleased that they have continued that vision, and that there is growth out in that area. I mean, to think that we have, industry out there, commercial properties out there, retail properties, restaurants. I mean, it is. It's very uplifting to see that we're growing that way, and I know he would be very happy to see that if he's looking down on that today.
I'm sure he would, yeah. But that planning that was done so many years ago. And another building project, can you tell us about that?
Are you speaking of the housing development?
Yes, the housing development. Yeah, River yes. and Leela. Yeah.
Yes, at River Road and Leela Road. Excuse me. Gentleman has about 56 acres, 50 some odd acres there at that juncture, and he would like to develop that with single family housing. and he did come to the town and ask for the ability to tap onto the water and sewer for the town. And one of the town's stipulations in the ordinances is if you ask to be tap onto our water and sewer services, then you must ask for annexation. And he did do that. He went through the process of asking for annexation. It's probably not, and the council agreed and decided that it just is not a piece of property that could be serviced very well due to its location where it is outside of the city limits. And so they did not approve to move forward with an annexation of that property, but they did move forward with agreeing to allow him to tap onto water and sewer services. And, of course, those customers would pay an outside rate for the services. Mm-hmm. And in doing that, the council agreed to an agreement with the developer that if they are putting in all of the water and sewer lines and taps, that he would be eligible for a reduction in the water sewer tap fees. Mm-hmm. So they approved that at the meeting on February also.
Yeah, okay. So that kind of sets a precedent there for other developers down the road.
Exactly,
mm-hmm.
exactly.
Sure.
I mean, if a developer comes in and they are responsible for laying all the lines and putting in all the taps, then they're eligible for a third reduction in the fee. Of course, if the town of Mayodan is doing all that work, there's no reduction. Mm-hmm. Those fees cover all of our time, expenses, and effort to do that. So
right, okay, yeah. So two good projects there.
Right, and I think his ultimate goal would be, somewhere around 100 homes. He won't start out with that, of course. I mean, I'm sure he'll start out with 10 to 20 homes and see how that goes and how the market is, and so we look forward to that. These will be very nice homes, and he already has some projects in the area in Eden and Stoneville, and he builds a very nice house and a very attractive house. So that will hopefully bring more people to this area, and more people in this area is going to spend their money in this area, and mm-hmm. That increases our sales tax revenue and things like that. So we're excited about that also.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation all the way around. Yeah, okay.
It really is.
All right. Well, looking at the calendar, and I know you mentioned this at the meeting, budget time, you got a meeting scheduled March 1, I believe.
Yes, we do. Yes, the council will begin to set their goals for the next budget year, things they'd like to see happen, things that they'd like to see included in the budget. And it just seems like we finished one budget and we're right into the next one. But there is a little bit of a lull in there. There's about 6 months from the time that one is adopted until you start planning the next. And we had our audit during that time. We got a very good audit, and so we're looking to try to do another budget that's responsible and fiscally responsible, and hopefully can accomplish the goals that the council sets for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Well said indeed. Okay.
Thank you.
and thank you for your hard work and
I appreciate that very much.
The Mayodan team, we're getting into all of this winter weather here recently. I know we talked about this before, the crews that are
and
out
I think we're going to get more this week. They're calling for more Wednesday night into Thursday.
Yep.
And so yes, we have great employees that do their best, that are always at the ready to try to handle the problems that we face, during the winter especially. Mm-hmm. And in the winters, typically when we have more water leaks and pipes bursting and things like that. So, they're out there diligently every day working, and they're working in bad weather when other people get to stay home. And I appreciate them so much, and I hope our citizens do too. And as I said at the meeting in February when we were discussing starting the next budget year, our department heads and employees do a fantastic job of keeping their expenses down, working with less, working with older equipment, working with getting, equipment that no longer works, getting it back up and running and trying to use it. And, your staff and your employees are only as good as the equipment they have to work with. And so they need and deserve newer equipment or better equipment, but we do what we can with what we have, and They're doing an outstanding job of keeping expenses down, and I just am so fortunate to have each and every one of them. I appreciate them, and I hope the citizens do too.
Yeah, I certainly do. How many employees do we have on staff right
we
off?
We have 34 full-time employees,
Okay.
And then we have usually up to about 5 or 6 on an average basis of part-time employees that are either permanent part-time or they are part-time during seasonal, like summer. We have employees at the park, Ferris Memorial Park, and then also seasonally we have things like we might hire a part-time person to help with our leaf collection. So we are fortunate to have some great full-time employees, but we also are fortunate to have some very, very good part-time employees that help us out a lot when we really need it.
Sure. Okay. So thanks to them.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else we need to mention?
Well, I can't think of anything except loose leaf collection is over with. That was November 1st through January 31st. So now if anyone has any leaves that they are raking up, they need to be bagged. We will pick up bagged leaves, just not loose leaves anymore. And, we're in a new year, so we do have a schedule prepared for our large item pickup, our brush pickup, and our recycling pickup. So if anyone needs a new schedule, the new dates this year, please contact us. We'll mail you out or have at the window a schedule for you to pick up if you'd like to do it that way, so that you know when to put your brush out, when to put your large item out, and when recycling is coming so that you can put your cart out. Again, recycle right. There's very few things that can go in the recycling bin, unfortunately, right now, but the recycling facilities are only accepting certain things, and so that would just be your cardboard, your magazines, newspapers, glass, and metal, cans and plastic jugs and things like that. But please do not put pizza boxes, no clothing, no yard toys, yard ornaments, Christmas decorations, appliances. None of that is recyclable, and please do not put those. And bags of trash do not go in your recycling. No bags at all, period, of any kind, should go in your recycling.
Well, you said it correctly there. Recycle right.
Recycle right.
Okay. All right, Lisa, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks a lot. Have a good week.
I hope you do too.
All
Take care.
Thanks. That's Lisa Hopper, Mayodan Town Manager. You get more information on their website, and that is townofmayodan.com, townofmayodan.com. So check that out. And especially if you're a newcomer to the area, you'll find lots of good information there on that website. I want to mention JDK Automotive on Highway Street. Locally owned, operated. They've been in business a long time, since 1963. You can trust JDK for all of your car care needs, all general automotive tune-ups, oil changes, brake work, things like that. Most major work, engines, transmissions, and they'll just keep you running right all year long when you depend on them at JDK Automotive, North Highway Street, Madison. Open 7:30 to 5:30 weekdays. They do close for an hour for lunch at 12:30. Also in this program, let me talk about our friend Nadine Cobb at Nadine Cobb Accounting and Tax. She's in downtown Mayodan. Yes, we're about 2 months away from that April 15th date, and if you need some help, she can help you. She is very knowledgeable, right up to the minute on all of the changes and tax rules and regulations. So check with her, Nadine Cobb, Accounting and Tax. I know firsthand what great work she does for my business and for us personally. Let me give you Nadine's phone number. Now's the time to go ahead and make an appointment, schedule that, and get in and meet with her. 336-427-9060, 427-9060 for Nadine Cobb, Accounting and Tax. And that's our program with Mayodan Town Manager Lisa Hopper for the month. Thank you for listening.